Welcome back to Mogul Chicks Chat as I continue my Talent in Team series. I am so happy that you decided to come back and listen to another episode. This is Mogul Chicks Chat, where women entrepreneurs learn how to build powerful companies with the structure, systems, and teams they need to scale. Today, we're going to talk about one of the most misunderstood parts of growing a business. That's your people pipeline, the recruiting, the staffing part, the part that I love so much, the part that I have built my foundation as an entrepreneur on. Because if the last episode was talking all about building a high performance team, this one is about attracting the right people, hiring the right people, and actually keeping the right people long enough for your company to grow. Let me tell you something. Hiring is not a chore. It's not a toy. It's not a game. It's a strategy. It's leverage. Hiring is how you buy back your time, protect your peace, and increase your revenue, but only if you attract the right people in the first place. Today, I'm going to tell you how to do that, but first, ask yourself 2 questions. First, why do you keep attracting the wrong people? And second, how do I fix that and make sure that I hire my A team? Welcome back to another episode of Mogul Chicks Chat. I'm your host, Adrienne Graham. I'm the CEO and proud founder of Mogul Chicks, and that's Chicks with an X. I am a serial entrepreneur and a self-made businesswoman who is a strategic business growth advisor, talent management strategist, published author, mentor, investor, and podcast host. Mogul Chicks helps female founders grow and scale profitable, job-creating companies and eventually get them investment ready. We also help groom them into dynamic leaders and CEOs and build legacy wealth in the process. Mogul Chicks is a mindset, a way of life, if you will, and a blueprint for female founders who want to build a legacy of wealth and a generational business empire. We provide strategic business growth solutions and a platform for resources, mentoring, networks, education, and media that shares our stories. Our mission is to take your company from flat to profit generating to job creating to investment ready. My personal mission is to help you build and run a better company, reimagine the way you do business, and build lasting wealth. Oh, and before I forget, make sure you tag Mogul Chicks using the hashtag Mogul Chicks Chat on social media. Make sure you rate the show and leave a comment. It helps people find us. Share the love, share the love. So let's get into it. Why do you keep attracting the wrong people? So let me start with some tough love. If you're constantly attracting the wrong candidates, it's not the talent pool that's the problem. There are millions of people out there, and many of them are qualified. It's your positioning. And here's what I mean. You attract what your job description communicates, what your brand signals, what your leadership projects, what your compensation reflects, and what your culture tolerates. Most founders aren't attracting the wrong people. They're signaling to the wrong market. And that's fixable. You see that in social media. They tell you all the time, you have to tailor your messaging to get the right audience. Same thing with hiring. So let's break down why the wrong people keep showing up. First one is your job descriptions are vague or chaotic. Looking for a rock star, must wear multiple hats. We are like a family. No, all of that is wrong. You need to be to the point and talk about exactly what it is that you're looking for. You can't sell people a bill of goods and expect them to come in and hit the ground running. Your job descriptions do not reflect the true reality of what it is to do that role in the day-to-day. Second thing is your compensation doesn't match the responsibility. How many times have you seen someone say, I need an administrative assistant who can also do social media and develop websites and code a product and be able to answer phones and book travel and be my right-hand person. But then you're talking about, I pay $10 an hour. Listen, if you can see my face right now, a lot of you do that. No, Just know on that. You can't expect a strategist to be an assistant. And you can't expect a CFO to work on a bookkeeper salary. So you got to get clear on your comps. And guess what? I have a tool on that, but we'll talk about that another time. The third thing is the role isn't clearly defined. People cannot excel when they don't know what excellence looks like. You have to be real clear. And I'm not talking about getting on some chat GPT to write up a job description. You really have to sit down and understand exactly what this role entails and then articulate that in a job description. Not to be confused with a job ad, and I'll talk about that another time. The fourth thing is your company looks disorganized from the outside. Look, candidates can smell chaos. And I'm not going to lie to you. There have been occasions where I've had candidates that I was hiring for some of my clients when I tried to articulate the value of the company or the aesthetic or the culture of the company. They saw right through that. So you cannot expect people to want to willingly walk into chaos. And then the last reason is you hire in desperation. How many times have I talked about that? Desperation hiring always ends in regret. That is when you find yourself up against a wall and you don't have anyone else and you figure, oh my God, I need somebody so badly that let me just hire whoever I vibe with. You can't do that. You have to hire for talent and for ability. So let's fix this pipeline from the ground up. So how do you attract the right people? Well, great people aren't attracted by cute language or generic posts or wild claims. Hey, come work for us. We're the best company in the world. We cultivate rock stars. No, you can't put that in a job ad. They're attracted by clarity, alignment, structure, and opportunity. So here's how you build that. Get a pen and pad because you might want to take notes on this. Step 1, clarify the role deeply. Before you post anything, you need to answer these 5 questions. What outcome does this role own? What problems does it solve? What decisions can they make? What does success look like in 90 days? What skills are absolutely non-negotiable? If you can't answer these questions, then you're clearly not ready to hire. Step number 2, write a job description that attracts leaders, not task rabbits. Here's what I mean by that. A good job description includes clear responsibilities, clear authority, clear KPIs, key performance indicators, clear boundaries, clear expectations, and a real picture of your culture. The job description should make the right person say, oh, shoot, this is my role. And it should make the wrong person say, you know what? I don't think this role is for me. You have to get clear on your job descriptions because you cannot sell a bill of goods to candidates because they'll see it for what it is and they're not going to want to come work with you. And the ones that do, they'll be coming there for just a paycheck and you can't expect them to be contributors to your business. Step number 3, pay competitively and transparently. Listen, I'm going to say this with love and a little bit of harshness. Stop trying to get people to work for way less than what they should be making and stop trying to offer them bogus pay structures. Let me break down what I mean by that. I've seen people say, I need an assistant. I need someone that's going to be my right-hand person, but I only want to pay them $15 an hour. Now, you just explained you need a whole chief operating officer that you want to have as your personal assistant, but you want to pay them $15 an hour. I've had situations where I've had a client come to me and say, hey, I need a CFO. And then at the end of that, the pay they wanted to pay them was like $55,000. That would be like maybe a finance manager, which they really didn't need a CFO. What I'm saying is people who add value won't work for the bare minimum. Your compensation needs to reflect the role, the responsibility, the level of responsibility, the results expected, and the talent level that you want. And no, stop trying to get people to be interns. People don't work for free anymore. Stop trying to do commission only. You can only get away with that in like real estate, insurance, and stuff like that. You cannot offer, especially if you're not making any money, and then you want to try to hire somebody and say, I'll pay you on commission, and then want to only pay them 10%. Look, If people don't feel like they have skin in the game, they're not going to be interested. You don't get top tier performance with bottom tier pay. So keep that in mind. And then step number 4, showcase your culture through action, not buzzwords. How many times have you seen an ad that says, oh, we're an innovative brand. We are launching our most ambitious project to date, or whatever fluff they use in those ads. People see through that BS. Okay. If your company values communication, show your communication rhythm. If you value excellence, show your standards. If you value growth, show your development opportunities. Culture is demonstrated. It's not declared. And people can see through that fakeness. So, how to hire the right people. Okay, I know that's what you really came to listen and hear about. So let's get into it. Attracting great people is one thing. Hiring them is another. Here's the hiring structure high-performing companies use. First thing, screen for alignment first. Skills are trainable. Values are not. You can have someone that can be the most talented person and can wipe out your workload in under 3 hours. But if they're not a good person, if there's no alignment there, everything is going to be off. Look for initiatives, ownership mindset, integrity, communication style, emotional intelligence, and the ability to learn. If someone checks every skills box, but they're chaotic or entitled or arrogant, you need to pass on them. Second thing is use structured interviews, not coffee chats. Ladies, I have a real problem with y'all with this. I really do. Because a lot of you get in these interviews and you start having a good old chat like y'all are sitting around the kitchen table. These are potential employees. These are not your friends. Stop having these chats with people like it's very casual. Ask questions that reveal how they think, not just what they've done. Here's some examples. Walk me through your decision-making process. That does not leave room for ambiguity. They will have to answer that question and show you what they're made of. How do you handle miscommunication or conflicts? Dig into that, because if that's a person that, I didn't mesh well with my boss and we didn't agree on things and whatever, and they couldn't come up with an outcome, that's a red flag. They're going to be a problem later on. What systems do you build when something breaks? This shows how they handle things when something is thrown at them out of left field. Tell me the last time you took ownership of a problem. I look for that because it's easy to pass the buck, but if you have someone that will stick with it until it's solved, you have a gem. You need to be looking for patterns, not performance. Anybody can pass an interview. It doesn't mean they're good. I have hired people that I've had to fire on day one. The day that they started was their first and last day. I've hired people that it took a couple of months for their true selves to shine through everything. You need to ask good questions. If you don't know how to ask questions, get some help. We help with that. Number 3, always test with real work. Wait, let me pause on that one for a minute because there is something going around right now where people are giving these candidates work to do as a test. Stop doing that. That is not how we do things. You do not give them work, actual work that you need for them to complete. It's insulting and it's demeaning. You wouldn't hire a chef without tasting their food, right? So you need to give them a hypothetical situation, and not a hypothetical that's based around what your needs are, because that's everybody can see through that. I once had a person come to me and tell me that she was interviewed to be a recruiter, and the company gave her the task of finding 50 hard to find candidates for a specific type of position. She politely declined because, no, ma'am, what you will not be doing is having me do some work for you during the interview process. And that's how people feel. You can give them, a test for their writing to see how they put together structure. You can put a test together for organization. You can test them for their problem solving skills. You can test how they think and how they communicate. But it has to be in a way that's authentic. You can't try to pull the wool over their eyes or try to get them to give you some really deep strategy and you don't even know if you're going to hire them. Because let's be real. How many times have people made that decision to say, oh, well, give me an example of strategy here. I'm going to give you this to fill out or this problem to solve and bring it back in 24 hours and let's see how you do. And then they never hire them, but they got some free strategy, some free advice. Don't be one of those employers. Don't do that. Okay. A hiring decision should never be based on vibes, and it should never be based on trickery. Number 4, don't rush ever. Okay. Desperation hiring is how you end up cleaning up messes later. You need to move quickly, but not emotionally. And I've seen a lot of people that are just worn out, burnt out. And it's like, okay, I really need this help. So let me go ahead and hire Susan because she applied for the ad and we vibed well. No, take your time, especially if it's a money-making position. Take your time and find the right people, because let me tell you something. It is more expensive to have to hire and fire than rehire for the same position. You need to do that right the first time. And if that means you don't feel confident enough to do it on your own, well, guess what? Give me a call. That's what we do with our staffing division. So I hope you got some tips on what to look for. So now let's move into how to retain the right people, because attracting them is easy. Hiring is great, but it doesn't mean anything if they don't stay. And a lot of times, a lot of these recruiters, I don't mean to point a finger, but a lot of these recruiters out here focus on getting bodies filled in positions. They don't think about the long-term retention strategy. So I'm going to give you a little bit of information on that right now. So always remember that retention is built on 4 things, okay? 1 is clarity. Clear roles, clear expectations, clear goals. People don't leave companies, they leave confusion, and they leave crappy bosses, okay? 2, feedback and accountability. High performers want to grow. They don't want to stay stuck and stagnant in a position. They want to be able to know that they have opportunities to move within the company. Low performers need correction, and that correction takes time out of your day. Everyone needs structure. Everybody needs a goal. So if you're not correcting people, if you're not rewarding them based on what they've done, then you're going to end up losing people, either by them leaving or by you firing them. Recognition and respect. People want to feel seen. They want to see valued. They want to feel appreciated. They want to feel trusted. This is not about coddling people. Don't get me wrong. Nobody said that you have to be like, oh, Susan, you're the best person in the world. No, that's not what we're saying. But you have to at least have basic leadership. You have to be able to acknowledge when someone has contributed to your team. You have to be able to, point out when someone has done a great job. Recognition goes a long way. People want to feel like you appreciate what they have to offer to you. And opportunity. High performers do not stay in stagnant environments. Let me tell you something. They want advancement. They want mastery. They want bigger challenges. They definitely want autonomy, and they want growth. Who wants to be an administrative assistant for 12 years? People don't come into companies thinking, oh, how can I be here for the long run, in this same position? No, they want raises. They want more expectation. They want more promotions. So you have to think about that. What is the path? I always sit down with my clients and we map out what the path is for each position, because people have an expectation that they're going to grow. Retention is not about perks. They don't care if you give them free lunch or car passes or whatever, parking passes or whatever. It's about the purpose. Why are they here? Why should they stay here? Okay. So let's talk about your role as a CEO in the people pipeline. So let me switch up and talk about you in this process. Okay. You cannot attract, hire, or retain great people if you're a chaotic leader. Great people will not stay where they're micromanaged, where they're disrespected, confused, underpaid, unsupported, unchallenged, unprotected, and lied to. Okay? Your job is to create structure, clarity, consistency, communication, culture, direction, and opportunity for your employees. All of them. Not just a chosen few, but all of them. People don't follow tasks, they follow leadership. And good leadership makes talent magnetic. Nobody wants to work for a crappy boss. I said that earlier in this podcast. Take that to heart. Be mindful of how you lead your people. Be mindful of how you talk to your people, because the ones that stay are going to be the ones that hold your company together. And the ones that leave, they're taking that magic and that talent to someone else to help them grow. So always be mindful of how you treat your people. Okay. So let me close with this. A company with no people pipeline is a company with no future. If you want to scale, you need the right talent coming in. You need the right hiring process. You need the right expectations, the right culture, and of course, the right leadership. So when your people pipeline is healthy, you're unstoppable. Your business is on a full speed ahead growth trajectory. Great people don't just help you grow your business. They help you grow yourself as a CEO. And all of you who are listening who are afraid of hiring or don't feel confident enough to hire, you need to reach out and get help. Again, we do that at Mogul Chicks with our staffing division. But if you're not ready to hire, if you're not ready to build that pipeline, if you don't understand what it takes to get, to attract, and to retain top talent, you're fighting a losing battle. So if you have any issues at all, first you do a workforce planning. We do that, staffing plans and workforce plans. We do that for you. We can sit down with you and walk you through it. But if you need to do that first, give us a call. We will help you through that. Do not hire without having that plan in place. We also have a tool that allows you to do that, and also a tool that helps you to determine if a hire is going to be beneficial financially. So are you serious about hiring people? Do you want to learn how to hire people? Well, listening to this podcast was the first step. Now you have to take action. So reach out to us and let us know how we can help you, and start looking and mapping out. You do your vision board about what you want in life or what you want your business to do. Vision board your dream team. I'm telling you, it does wonders. I'm Adrienne Graham, CEO and founder of Mogul Chicks, and this has been another Mogul Chicks Chat. I want to help you build a better, more profitable company. Make sure you check out the other episodes, and if you like what you hear, share the love. Pass the link on to your friends. You can find this podcast wherever podcasts are streamed, and of course on the Mogul Chicks website. Make sure you subscribe, and if you do, leave a comment on any or all of the channels. It helps other people find the podcast too. Sharing is caring. For more information about how we work with you to grow and scale your company, visit us online at mogulchicks.com. Send an email to contact@mogulchicks.com, or you can connect with us all over social media at Mogul Chicks. And remember, that's Mogul Chicks with an X. If you're not yet part of the Mogul Circle, if you're doing over $1 million in revenue annually, what are you waiting for? There's so much value in memberships and the community. If you prefer a good program or trying to move beyond startup phase, check out the Mogul Chicks Academy at mogulchicksacademy.com. I'll catch you on the next episode. And remember, Mogul Chicks are always a step ahead of the crowd, and they're always closing deals. Mogul Chicks make mogul moves and power plays. Your move. Now go be profitable. Bye.